Let's go!
So, this PSO game is pretty fun. After not playing very much any of PSO2 over the past 8 years since the original Japanese beta, which I did play, there are YouTube videos of it, my experience with about 9 hours on the beta so far has been pretty positive, right? I think the only gripe I have is that the beginning of the game is a little too easy, right? The opening missions that are meant to like keep you sort of in there stay a little bit easy for a little too long. It's a bit daunting and there's almost like too much stuff to do, which I think is a legit, you know, that's a legit thing. Usually when games last a long time, there's almost like too much stuff. Way too many things for you to do, too many things for you to see, too many places for you to go. It's almost like MMO-like. It's a lot different than, you know, classic PSO. I don't think that's a bad thing, but at the same time, it takes a while to absorb everything, right? It is an MMO now. Like, they give you, there's just so much shit for you to do that they turn this little game into an MMO. I don't love the anime aesthetic and the art style of the game because it is very old and it has a very old art style and it is super anime. It doesn't really feel like PSO, but what they do really smart to keep you making it be PSO. Sound and audio, absolutely PSO, 100%. That's a big part of classic Phantasy Star Online. And the typical gameplay loop. The gameplay loop of Phantasy Star Online 2 is very, very similar to classic PSO. It's a bit less focused, right? There's almost like too many quests and things for me to choose from. Instead of just like, oh, we beat forest, we can get to caves. We beat caves, we get to mines. We get to mines, we get to ruins. And then once we beat ruins, we unlock the hard difficulty, and then we unlock very hard, and then, you know, ultra or ultimate, right? There's a very clear path in the old Phantasy Star Online games, and it's a little bit difficult to find that path here. It's kind of weird to feel like, okay, so everything's super easy. When do we jump into the hard mode? And we do hard mode, and hard mode isn't even that hard. It's like, okay, well, or your only problem with the game is that inventory full happens a lot. It does. Yeah, you almost need more inventory space to work with. But I had a lot more fun than I was expecting. A lot more enjoyment out of this game than I was thinking I could ever have. And what's crazy is that after all these years of me avoiding this game like the plague, this is a very easy game just to jump in and play. It's a very easy game just to like, oh, I'm just gonna grind on some quests, do some urgent missions, and then meet up with your friends and play some blackjack, right? This seems like a much easier game for me to jump in and play than something like, I don't know, Final Fantasy XIV. Which for me, Final Fantasy XIV has a pretty big learning curve. The thing that I was very surprised with Phantasy Star Online 2, dude, the weapons are all crazy interesting. The weapons feel like almost like Monster Hunter weapons in many ways. They have all these really cool abilities and moves that you get to do. They have all this stuff that you can go about. Like I said, the art style definitely pulls me away from it feeling like Phantasy Star Online, and I feel like the art style in the old games is that classic Dreamcast art style, which is really nice. But when it boils down to it, you killing a crap ton of enemies with 4 people or 12 people, you going on urgent quests with a whole bunch of people, that stuff is super fun. That stuff is super fun. Being able to repeat, rinse, and wash, like just do this again, try to get better drops and stuff like that. There are still so many systems and subsystems that I barely even understand, you know? I'm barely even comprehending what I'm supposed to do, because what I'm really doing now is just trying to level, trying to upgrade my gear as I possibly can, trying to update my missions as much as I can, my personal missions, and then keep going from there. The more I play it, the more I like it. There is a lot of lag in the beta, but I think that's to be expected. There's a shit ton of people playing right now. There's a shit ton of people in all these lobbies. There's a shit ton of people in all these ships, or these 2 ships. And I feel like I'm still missing out on a lot of stuff. I feel like there's still a lot of stuff that I can't even comprehend yet. I'm not even too sure what the max level of the game is. The camera's not great. Yeah, I'm still having, but the camera in classic PSO, it's actually very similar to the classic PSO camera. I dig it. I know, I dig it. I do really want to play the PC version though. The PC version will alleviate a lot of the weird loading issues that the Xbox version seems to have. We'll see what happens with the game when it comes out immediately. I'm really curious how much content we're missing out on in the beta compared to the full game, compared to what Japan and everyone's had for like the past 8 years. I'm really curious what, like quest-wise or anything, like a lot, like a whole bunch? Because it seems like a lot of the core systems are there, right? It feels like I'm playing with 8 years of core systems of bullshit, right? Playing with like 8 years of just all this different stuff that we can do to our characters and our weapons. But I definitely feel that there's more quests and areas and things that are just not here. They're just not available. You don't understand some things like the mag? Yeah, the mag system's a little weird. Just because you have to really control or know what the hell you're doing. You're basically missing on episode 4 to 6. Okay, I didn't even know there was episodes, right? So episodes are like seasons of content. Something you need to look into tomorrow is skill trees and the weapon gears for the skill trees to get the most out of your weapons. Whole new amount of things open up there. Wow. So that's what I mean. There's like things I don't even know about. There's just been, I haven't played enough for us to even gather all that crazy shit. I like it, right? I like it because it's chill. I get the same feeling of this game as I do with like Monster Hunter, you know? I could see me jumping into this when it launches and playing a shit ton of it. I could see Jessica possibly even wanted to jump in on it as well, because it's simple enough to play game, but it does have that very similar like Monster Hunter aspect to it, right? It definitely has that feeling like it's very chill, like old PSO was. There's crazy collaborations, just like Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy XIV and everything like that. I'm curious how crazy some characters can look, you know? I'm curious if you can get classic Phantasy Star Online costumes. I'm wondering how many throwbacks and references there are to old PSO in this game. Because we've already run into a large variety of weapons that are identical to classic Phantasy Star Online. At least between, you know, the physical looks of weapons. You absolutely can. Wow! You can get old PSO costumes. PSO 1 lobbies exist as a guild base? Oh my god! Another question I got is this game still being relatively supported overseas? Like in Asia, like the primary countries it was released in Japan? Is there still content and things coming out for PSO2, or has it been largely like a somewhat supported game, but not really? Absolutely? Really? So they're still releasing new shit for the game. Non-stop. Wow. Episode 6 was just released. Wow. So this has been a moneymaker for Sega. That's kinda nuts. PSO2 remaining very much active and very much alive and still very much having now potentially crossplay. They said they're going up to 2024 guaranteed. Jesus. Well, that only makes me realize that there would be an eventuality that Phantasy Star Online 3 could be a thing at some point, you know? That would make a lot of sense. If they still make a ton of income off this game, they're probably gonna make it last like at least 10 years and start, you know, working on Phantasy Star Online 3. And in the situation a PSO 3 does happen, I guarantee you, this wouldn't be the similar situation where PSO 3 doesn't make it overseas, where it only makes it to Japan or Asian territories. That won't happen again. After this stuff, because I almost guarantee you this is gonna do pretty well for Sega. I guarantee you that there's going to be a fairly healthy amount of folks that are going to be playing the North American release of PSO2. Yeah, PSO3, just actually seeing PSO3 like on next-gen systems. Because this game is very old. Like, you gotta realize PSO2 was developed for previous gen, around the middle of previous gen. So this game was technically designed for Xbox 360 and PS3. So it's really old. Like, it's really old. It came out in 2012, but that means it was being developed around 2010. So this game is like over a decade old, technically, by development standards. Knowing that PSO2 came out this good, it'd be really sick. It'd be really sick if a Phantasy Star Online 3 somewhere in the future is looking amazing, has even more... It is maybe not as crazy like anime as PSO2 is, because it's very anime. God, man, the gameplay loop of this game is just so good. It's so much fun. The only thing that's a kind of a downside of PSO2 is that it feels like it can run on your damn phone, right? Feels like I can play this game on my phone if I wanted to. It just doesn't look... It obviously doesn't look great. But there really is some good parts to the game gameplay-wise that keep it interesting, that keep it engaging the entire time I played. You can play it on your phone? There is a mobile version of it? Wow. Makes me want to play some other Phantasy Star Online games, right? Do we actually... I wasn't able to pay attention. Do we actually have a release date for when this is coming out? Do we have like a tried and true actual release date? Because we're going to keep all of our progress, which is kind of sick. We don't have to go through all this again. It's just spring 2020. Damn it. It's coming out April 10th. April 10th. You have a great time. So I really liked it. Yeah, overall, I want to play more.